Welcome to Apexsalesforcetutorials.com. At Apexsalesforcetutorials.com, we're dedicated to providing you with top-notch tutorials and guides to master Apex coding, Lightning Web Components, and everything Salesforce related, including interview preparation tips and techniques. Get ready for the ultimate LWC interview question session. Today we're diving into the most crucial LWC interview questions that every Salesforce developer needs to know. This is the third and final part of our series tailored for beginners and experienced. Our very first and important question is explain about LWC lifecycle hooks. Think of these as checkpoints along the journey of creating, updating, and removing a component from the DOM. First up, we have the constructor method. This is like the starting point where we initialize the component's properties and state. Next, we've got the connected callback method. Picture this as the moment our component enters the stage of the DOM. Here, we usually set up any event listeners or perform necessary initializations. Now, onto the render priors method. This is where the magic happens. We generate the HTML markup that forms our component's visual representation. After rendering, we hit the rendered callback, and here we can perform additional tasks or updates that require access to the DOM, now that our component is all set up. Finally, we reach the disconnected callback. This is like our component saying goodbye to the DOM. We use this opportunity to clean up any resources or remove event listeners to keep things tidy. And there you have it, the life cycle of an LWC component in a nutshell. Our second question is, explain the concept of data binding in LWC. Imagine data binding as a powerful connection between a component's properties and what's displayed in its HTML template. This connection ensures that whatever changes we make to a property automatically reflect in the template and vice versa. It's like a dynamic dance between our data and its representation. Now, there are two main types of data binding we use in LWC. First, we have property binding. This is where we link a component's property to a value in the HTML template using curly braces. For example, if we have a property called message in our component, we can bind it to an HTML element like this. Whenever the message property changes, the corresponding value in the HTML template updates automatically. It's like magic. Next up, we've got event binding. This is how we connect HTML element events, like clicks or inputs, to methods in our component. Using the on syntax, we specify the event and the method to call when that event occurs. For instance, if we want to trigger a method called handleClick when a button is clicked, we bind it like this. So, whenever the button is clicked, the handleClick method springs into action. And there you have it. Data binding in LWC, making our components dynamic and responsive. Our third question is, how can you render multiple templates in LWC? In LWC, we can display multiple templates conditionally based on the component state using the if true directive. Here's an example of how to display multiple templates in LWC. In this example, the if.true directive is used to conditionally render each template based on the component showTemplate1 and showTemplate2 properties. When the showTemplate1's property is true, the first template is rendered, and when the showTemplate2's property is true, the second template is rendered. Our fourth question is, explain IORA-enabled cacheable true. Annotation. Give an example of how you can use it. In LWC, the Aura-enabled cacheable true annotation is used to cache the server's response on the client side, making subsequent calls to the same server method faster and more efficient. When a server method is marked as cacheable, the Lightning platform stores the method's response in the client's cache. If the same method is called again with the same parameters, the Lightning platform can retrieve the response from the cache instead of making a new server call. This can improve performance and reduce network traffic. Consider the below example to use this annotation. In this example, the getRecord function is marked as cacheable by using the Aura-enabled cacheable true annotation. This means that the response from the getRecord function will be cached on the client side. and subsequent calls with the same parameters will retrieve the cached response instead of making a new server call. Fifth question is, can you explain the difference between the component event and the application event in LWC? Answer for this is based on few key points. First is scope. Component events are confined to the component hierarchy, facilitating communication between parent and child components or between sibling components within the same hierarchy, whereas application events have a broader scope and can be consumed by any component within the entire application, regardless of hierarchical relationships. Second is dispatching. Component event occurs within a single component hierarchy using the custom event mechanism in the component's JavaScript controller, whereas application events are handled globally, allowing communication across different parts of the application using the custom event mechanism in the component's JavaScript controller. Third is propagation. Component events does not extend beyond the component hierarchy. Designed for localized communication within a specific part of the application, whereas application events propagate throughout the entire application, facilitating communication between components residing in different parts of the component tree. Our sixth question is, what is the role of the Lightning Message Service in LWC? Answer is, the Lightning Message Service in LWC allows components to talk to each other using a publish-subscribe model. Think of it like sending and receiving messages between different parts of your app without them needing to know each other directly. For example, let's say you have a parent component with two child components. One shows a list of items and the other displays details when you select one. When you click on an item, the first child sends a message with the item details. The second child, listening for that message, then updates its display accordingly. So, it's like passing notes between components, keeping them loosely connected and flexible in how they interact. Our seventh question is, can you explain the role of the Salesforce Object Query Language, SOQL, in LWC? SOQL, or Salesforce Object Query Language, is like a powerful search tool for pulling data from the Salesforce database. It's what we use in Lightning Web Components to grab specific records or information we need. Think of it as a way to ask Salesforce for exactly what you want, whether it's a list of contacts, details about an account, or anything else stored in Salesforce. We can use SOQL in LWC to fetch data dynamically and display it in our app. For instance, we might want to show a customer's name on the screen. We'd write a SOQL query to find that customer's name in Salesforce, and then use that info to populate our app. So, SOQL is like the bridge between our LWC app and the data stored in Salesforce, helping us create dynamic and customized user experiences. Our ninth question is, can you explain how to use the LWC component cache and why it is important for performance? You can understand it as a game changer, the LWC component cache. Picture this. Every time a user opens a page with Lightning Web Components, their browser has to fetch and display those components. Now that's fine, but it can be a bit slow, especially with a dodgy internet connection or on the first visit. Enter the LWC component cache. This superhero feature stores copies of those components right in the browser's cache, like saving your favorite website for quick access. So, instead of downloading them every time, the browser just grabs the cached copies lightning fast. What does this mean for users? Faster page loads and a smoother experience overall. And guess what? It's easy to activate. Just use the wire decorator with getRecord or getListUI wire adapters, and boom, instant performance boost. It's like giving your app a turbocharger. Our 10th question is, what tools are available in Salesforce Lightning? A user interface tool called Lightning Schema Builder is used to create and view fields, objects, and relationships. First is Lightning Connect. This integration tool makes it easier for the Force.com application to ingest data from the external source, which complies with the OData specification. Second is a user interface UI tool called Lightning Process. Builder is used to create and visualize automated business processes. Third is Lightning Component Framework. It includes add-ons and parts that make it possible to customize the Salesforce One mobile app, create standalone apps, and create reusable components. Fourth is the most recent user interface tool, Lightning App Builder. Enables the speedy creation of Lightning apps using components provided by Salesforce platform developers. Whether you're a beginner looking to kickstart your Salesforce journey or an experienced developer seeking advanced techniques, our comprehensive tutorials have got you covered. Dive into our engaging content, learn new skills, and elevate your career to new heights. Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest tips and tricks in Salesforce development. Let's embark on this exciting journey together. See you in the next video.